Hey, what's going on YouTube? Marine X back at it again. This is my car survival kit, a mini one. Of course, if you've seen my truck videos before, there's a lot of stuff in there that can help me survive inside, near, or far away from my vehicle. This is probably my most practical kit and smallest kit, which I like to use for any scenario from helping someone out on the side of the road all the way to surviving inside of my vehicle for a couple of days. So there'll be some stuff in here was sent to me by brand, some of the stuff I bought myself. But we do have a sponsor for today's video, and that is VAR and their fantastic field watches. This one specifically is the VAR. This is the S3 field watch. I've talked about this thing before. I'm a big fan of VAR. Okay, I've talked about them before. I got a VAR on my wrist. I have a VAR here that I want to talk about. My favorite watch below $200. This thing is assembled in the USA. They make fantastic mechanical watches. This one has a quartz movement. I think it looks really classic and clean in that all white coloring. And it does have a small calendar on there as well if you need that. I like the fact that when you order a VAR watch, it comes with two different bands. This one here, I decided to get the khaki. You can upgrade it if you want to get yourself a leather band or something like that. All sorts of options. I think they fit well. They look well. This one specifically is a 36 millimeter, which looks really good on my wrist. You can go upwards. They make bigger watches. You can get yourself a 40 millimeter or 43 millimeter. Dive watches, field watches, racing watches, all sorts of stuff. Check out my link in the description down below to get the best pricing on this watch. Use my discount code to get an even better price than what you might see on their website. And shout out to VAR for once again being a longtime sponsor of the channel. And I appreciate you guys making it happen. Now, jumping into the actual survival kit itself. Why do I have this thing? This thing lives in the back seat of my truck. And it literally, I have a 50, this is an ammo can that can take 50 cal. You can get a smaller ammo can if you want. I don't have one laying around, but they have the smaller ammo cans if you want something like that. This one specifically, I'm a big fan of because it can just get out the way. A lot of times we're loading different kids, different supplies, cheerleading and soccer, and my sons are about to start flag football. So there's a lot of times where I want to have survival kits, but sometimes I need that trash to get out of my way. This thing gets out of the way. You can use whatever you want to. If you want to use a small Plano box or something that you get from Home Depot or whatever, there's a lot of different options for you. But we're going to talk about what's in here and what I use it for. The purpose of this kit is to help me or anybody that's with me to survive inside of my vehicle for hopefully up to 3 days. Now, the likelihood of that happening is almost slim to none. So this is also supplemented with things that could help someone out on the road. Someone needs to help with changing a flat tire, or if someone needs some help, a specific tool. The other day, or I say a few weeks ago, there was some folks riding a motorcycle. They needed Allen keys. I had Allen keys in here. I just gave them the entire set. I don't know what on a motorcycle needed to be fixed with an Allen key, but they really needed a set. So that type of stuff as well is in here. And this is a complement to my toolkit. It is time to supplement this stuff though. I need to make sure the stuff in here is not expired. So I have other kits that I have laying around that I may use to supplement this kit overall. But this is a big DIY thing. Think about where the area that you're in. If you're in the south of the equator, you're entering winter months. Maybe you want to have some stuff in there to keep you warm. If you are in our hemisphere and north of the equator, you're entering the summer months. Maybe you need things to get you tons and tons of water so you don't overheat. First thing that I have in here, some windproof gloves. Anything that I can find in here, I would try to link up down below if I can find them. Some stuff is hopefully still available. But I like windproof gloves because you may actually need to get out of your vehicle and do some stuff. I buy specifically windproof because I like the fact that I can throw these on while changing a tire, working on the outside of my truck, working underneath the hood of my truck, and wind's not cutting through and actually affecting my phalanges. I would like to have full dexterity if I have to work outside the vehicle. That's why I decided to keep these in there. I do have a SAR. This is a threaded filtration kit with a back filter flow. So this is going to be extremely important for the actual survival kit itself. It has filtration instructions. Since it's only going to be a couple of days that you be in your vehicle, you shouldn't have to use this backflow system to actually to backwash the filtration kit. But why not have it in here and not need it versus need it and not have it? This is mainly what you would use for storing your water, and you use the syringe to fill this thing up with clean water. And if you're near a water source, hopefully you have the opportunity to go. If it's a creek nearby, you have to leave your vehicle or whatever. I think what I need to add to this thing, probably should throw a Silcock key in here if I don't have one, but let's see if I have one in here before I just assume. So I need to make sure stuff is not expired and also supplement this thing if I see fit. So that is the way for filtering water. We also have additional ways to store water to go along with that. So of course, as I go along and get that water, I want to have a bigger way to store different water as well. 48 fluid ounces of water can be stored into this basically canteen size, but collapsible water container, where it does have almost a Nalgene type of top. If you're used to the Nalgene top, if you have all those funky attachments, like if you have a gas mask attachment and you need to use that, that's why I like this specific one. This is a poncho. Now, this poncho is not like my favorite poncho. I have a poncho that is by Hazard 4, which costs like 150 bucks. It turns into a tarp and it turns into a windbreak, and you can use it for ground cover. This one, I don't even know if this one has grommets. I try my best when I get a poncho to ensure that it has grommets so that I can use it. All right, so next thing in here is something I'm definitely gonna keep in here, but I wanted to make sure it's still good to go. This is a 96 hour, actually it's a 115 hour candle. So this thing can go over 4 days. If you light this thing up, it will burn slowly for 4 days. And okay, so the wick is still good. I'm almost tempted to just see if this thing will light, because it has been back here for quite a while. Okay, so we are getting light. That's good. That's good. So we're good to go. I don't need to actually concern myself with trying to get another one of these or whatever. So we got that. So if you can get yourself a 115 hour, 96 hour candle, whatever, this would be really good for providing very, very small warmth inside of a cabin of a vehicle. You wouldn't believe how much this type of non-toxic candle can produce heat inside of a cabin of a vehicle in those colder months. We're entering warmer months, so this one specifically would be better for actually being used if you needed to start a fire or something like that. And it's a candle. You can even use this for signaling. You can use this for a number of things. If you need to burn back brush, if you're trying to make an encampment area, there's a bunch of bugs or something or whatever, you can use that. So a number of different ways that comes into handy. All right, so some other things that's in here, I like to keep these little collapsible cups. So of course, gathering the water is cool and all, but if you have somebody else that is with you and you guys don't want to drink out of the same container, you can use these small collapsible cups, not just for drinking, but you can use them for small storage. Maybe you can eat individual food items out of them or whatever. So these are just nice to have. So you don't need this. You can drink directly out of that canteen style or whatever. The fire starter itself, I think this is pretty key. So this one feels dry still. It feels usable. I'm not going to rip it open, but I like all sorts of different ways for fire starting. This one is like a light rock particle. It's an insta fire. You just spread out the amount that you need. You can use all of it, or you can try to individualize it and just use a portion of it. And is this a resealable bag? No, it's not resealable. So you can still try to just use the portion that you need, maybe fold it down. Long burn time of 15 minutes. Waterproof pouch. Both of those are fantastic. I like stuff from Instafire. I think they make great stuff. They have plenty of competitors though, so multiple of those in here. We also have a signaling mirror. This signaling mirror itself does have an eye relief hole in the middle. So what you use for this is you stand facing the sun or any other light source, and you try to use this mirror to catch that light source, to catch the attention of someone that may be off in the distance. You hold this close to your eye and you close your other eye, and you just try to use the eye hole to actually see where you're pointing it, and you use this to catch that different light. So your goal is to try your best to use this. If you need an emergency situation, you're actually trying to not only survive in your vehicle, but catch someone's attention, you keep one of these. So I think this is a pretty good, and it's even small enough to throw on your keychains or whatever, but this is going to be replaced. This is a very super generic flashlight that I got. A Tasco flashlight, never even heard of it. I can't remember what prompted me to buy this. Was it the battery type? But I like to have a flashlight in here, not necessarily to light the way. This is using triple A's, and they are still working, so that's a good thing. They haven't busted open, but this is in a cab of my vehicle, so the temperature is not as harsh, especially it being underneath the seat of my vehicle, so it's a little bit less things to worry about. However, I think I want to change this out with a better, maybe I get an 18650. I normally like to keep triple A's because this is mainly getting used to shine inside of this or to maybe shine around our area. I normally have a better flashlight in the cab of my truck, so I probably would give this to somebody if I were in a situation, but I might need to swap that out as well. This one specifically, I enjoy using to shine around into this kit. So I have this, use this to shine around, use this inside the cab of the vehicle itself. It does have a SOS mode. It has an inspection mode. It charges with micro USB. So maybe I'll swap this out as well, but I really like the inspection feature. So if I swap it out, it probably will be with a Coast flashlight because they're really good, like a Coast G22 or something like that. They are really good with inspection lights, and I want something that I can still have that ability. More fire starting ability. These are fire starting actual matches, but in here I threw in some additional tinder. Will I need it? I don't know. Should I have it? Absolutely. And this one is these are sold all over the internet. I would just recommend whatever you get, just make sure it does have a O-ring around here to make it even more waterproof. And if they include extra strike pads inside of it, that would be nice. So I know they sell these all over the place, but that should be a minimum. I'll link up any ones that I like. Another one of those cups, I mentioned having two of those cups for drinking purposes. Now I do have a actual numismatic compass. This one I like specifically for the fact that you can bring this up to your eye, up to your chin, and use this if you need to actually shoot and figure out which direction you're going. Is it still working properly? It is. Okay, so good to go. Even though I'm surrounded by all sorts of stuff, it's still functioning correctly. I've talked about 5 different ways you can survive with a field watch. This would be my number one go-to to find a specific direction to start to walk if I were going to try to actually hoof it out. But you can also use a field watch, and I'll link that video up down below to help you if your actual compass were to go out. This is a lensnatic compass. I can never pronounce that. This is great for shooting azimuths if you know how to do that. If you do not, get yourself a regular base plate compass or a button compass, or you can get this as well, but this is probably overkill and more money than you probably need to spend. The actual charger for that flashlight, which I think I'm going to replace, I'm trying to get out away from micro USB forever. I have this in here though. If I'm using this in the cab of my vehicle, hopefully I can just tap into my vehicle to charge that flashlight if I need to. So I still keep that here. Another way to start fires, I'm always thinking about if we need to leave the vehicle, because I'm not going to start a fire other than the candle. I'm not going to start a fire inside my vehicle. But if we need to go into the woods away from the vehicle, I just want multiple ways, just in case I want to barter with someone else that may be stuck on the road. I've talked about before all those cars stuck on I-95 years ago. Or B, if I lose something, or if someone, if some of this stuff were to grow legs or whatever, I have multiple ways to use this. This is a storm whistle. I'm probably going to swap this out with a Acme Vornado or Tornado whistle. I like the way that those are smaller. This one's a little loud, but it's inside of a survival kit. It works fine. I'm just going to check the decibel levels, whatever the case may be. If I'm trying to get someone's attention, I want to be rescued, this is much better than yelling and using your own voice in a survival situation. So if you know that help could be nearby, you can literally kind of tie this with some paracord around your neck, bring it up to your mouth. No matter how fatigued you may be, this would be better to blow into this versus actually trying to use your own voice. So that might be important. I have dreadlocks, so if I do start that fire, I don't want to completely burn my head up. So as I tease the fires, I try to get the fire going a little bit better. I have a blower that keeps my dreadlocks in my face far from a freshly started fire that I'm trying to grow. So that's important for me. You may not need that, but I do. A cigar cutter. So this can come in handy for smoking cigars. If I get extremely bored, I don't keep cigars in here because they will expire. I 100% know that. But if I have the occasion, if I have a cigar, whatever, you can also use this for cutting. These are actually pretty sharp. So if you need this for cutting smaller twigs or whatever, and you want to use that for this, you can use that overall. And once more, a little bit of live fire, which you can use. You can expose just a little bit of this, use this portion and burn it, and keep exposing it, and use this for those emergency situations. Now, I've talked about before supplementing this kit, and it's probably going to take a little bit of supplementing because I haven't been in here a while. Do I want to actually keep food items in here? I'm not particularly interested in keeping food items in here, mainly because I don't go in the kit often enough to remember to make sure that I'm addressing food items and stuff is not spoiling in the back of my vehicle and stuff like that. However, I actually still may want to go through and do some supplementing from another kit. So I do have stuff that I'm thinking about adding in here. Specifically, I'm missing paracord out of the kit, as we can clearly see. I have some paracord here I'm probably going to throw in. I think I might want to add a fishing survival kit. It is a low likelihood that I will use this, but it has a lot of handiness to it. First off, the tape that's around this itself, it can be unsealed and resealed to keep this waterproof. The tape itself is fire. You can use it for to start a fire. And then it's a full survival fishing kit that you can buy from Adventure Survival Company. And so it's a kit ready to rock and roll. If we are in a situation where we want to actually activate noise traps or stuff like that, or small snare traps, I think I want some Kevlar wire or something to activate smaller traps for the purposes of actually trying to catch small game. I know I want some of these mini survival cards. I have a lot of them. This is the extra kit that I have. I have a lot of these like mini survival cards laying around, and I don't remember everything from my days in the Marine Corps, everything that I've trained for ever since. So it might make sense to actually keep one of these survival kits around. I don't know about one and done, and two is one and one is none for the signal, for the actual fire starting and signaling mirror and stuff like that. So I might think about upgrading the signaling mirror to an Endure, which I think is a significantly bigger surface, maybe even better at light catching. So I think I might do that as well. Everything else in here seems like overkill. I always have a knife somewhere else in my vehicle. This entire kit has no knife whatsoever. I'm almost tempted to put a razor blade type of knife in there just to have it, which I may do, but I think I might be better suited by just putting a regular, either number 11 or a regular utility blade in there. Signaling tape, yes, makes sense to be able to be seen from above. And I think that is really it that's going to be in this kit. So we're figuring out what was in this kit, things that I want to supplement it with. Now, you guys may think to yourself, X, you're crazy. You do a lot of prep stuff. You don't need to concern yourself with that. That's true. And so if you think that, you're more than welcome to not do it. I'm going to do it because I just want to be prepared. And my goal is to get home to my family. I'm the man of my house. I'm the breadwinner of my house. If I get stuck in a situation at my hunting property or something like that, or EMPs, I think about that type of stuff. I want to be able to survive and get back to my family. This is the purpose of all this type of crap, not necessarily to survive with my family, because this may be not enough or whatever. And this kit is more additional supplies that I may want. And this is a waxed nylon. I might want to keep that. Okay, this cordage is what I actually may want versus straight up paracord or 550 cord. I will take this mini saw this can handle tree branches that are less than 2 inches in width, probably 1.5 inches, where you can use this to try to take those down, because I no longer really keep a big ass axe or hatchet in my vehicle. So that might make a lot of sense. I have a lot of room in this 50 cal can, so I want to use it, but not overuse it. Just I can keep it practical as much as I can. So this is a lightweight survival blanket. I like Endurance blankets more, but I'll put this in there. Endurance blankets are bigger, but this one is probably okay. I don't think I've ever tested this brand out. This is, oh, no, this is from Sokol. Yeah, they make fantastic stuff. So I'll definitely keep that. I always have 550 cord. The only thing about this kit, my normal 550 cord is wrapped around in that self-cutting kit. I only have 2 of those and they're being used already. So I will probably just have to make a traditional cut or buy a third one of those dispenser kits. But that's kind of where I am right now. Now, the only food items I could imagine putting in there as it stands right now might be Cliff bars, energy bars, things that have a super long, super high preservative, super long shelf life. Ants can't get inside of it. It won't melt. It will give me energy. I can forget about it. So strip down MREs, like I mentioned earlier, Cliff bars, that type of stuff. I may want to take a look at fresher items, candy items, things that are going to melt. I'm not going to keep a bunch of Kit Kat bars and all that type of stuff back there that may not make a lot of sense. So those are the type of things that I think about. So this is a kit, a mini survival kit for if SHTF, your vehicle gets stuck super far away and you can't get home because you don't have the ability to, or the items to, or the proper shoes to do so, or if you need to hide out for any specific reason. The likelihood of this happening is slim to none. If it may happen, if you can put the stuff together, then why not? Comment down below. What am I missing? What am I overdoing? What should I add to this kit to make it much better? Or should I scrap the whole thing? I won't, but I would love to know if you think I should. If this is your first time stopping by, hit the subscribe button. I would love to have you a part of the battalion. Shout out to VAR once again for sponsoring this video, being a longtime sponsor of the channel. It is with you that I'm able to do this type of stuff, and I appreciate that. Join the Discord. The Discord is back. Go to the marinex.com/Discord to join the Discord. We are trying to get that thing back up and running, especially with movie nights and game nights and all that type of stuff. If this is not your first time stopping by, thank you once again for watching me run my grade. Hit that like button. We will speak soon.